$1 trillion. One man. More money than entire countries. And somehow, almost none of it is cash. That's one of the strangest parts of the Elon Musk story. The richest person in modern history didn't get there by collecting giant paychecks. He got there by owning things, companies, ideas, pieces of the future, and turning one win into another. Everybody has an opinion about Elon Musk: genius, fraud, visionary, attention seeker. Depending on who you ask, he's either building the future or taking credit for it. But almost everybody telling the story focuses on the same thing: the money, and I think that's the least interesting part. Because the real question isn't how Elon Musk got rich. The real question is how he kept turning one success into a bigger one. Over and over and over again. That's the trail we're following. Who started it? Because once you start tracing ideas back to the source, you find something pretty unsettling. A lot of the things we treat like facts started as opinions, campaigns, advertisements, or somebody with an agenda. The most powerful lies don't feel like lies. They feel like common sense. And common sense is a lot harder to question. I'm Mike, and now you know. Before Tesla, before SpaceX, before the headlines, there was a kid obsessed with computers. Elon Musk wasn't the only smart kid of his generation. He wasn't the only entrepreneur either. What made him different was timing. He saw the internet early, really early, at a time when most businesses barely understood what a website was. So he started a company called Zip2. Most people have never heard of it, which is funny, because without Zip2, there is no Elon Musk story. He worked constantly, slept in the office, showered at a gym, lived like someone who had already spent money he hadn't earned yet. Then Zip2 sold, and suddenly, Elon became a millionaire. Most people would have taken the victory lap. Elon immediately started looking for the next bet. That bet became X.com, an online banking company. Back then, that sounded ridiculous. People barely trusted the internet with email. Now someone wanted them to trust it with money? The company eventually became part of PayPal. And when PayPal sold to eBay, Elon walked away with roughly $180 million at 31 years old. Most people would have called that success. Elon treated it like fuel. Most newly rich people buy comfort, a bigger house, a nicer car, a quieter life. Elon Musk did something else. He took most of what he had and poured it into two companies. One people called impossible, the other people called stupid: SpaceX and Tesla. It's easy to forget how crazy those ideas sounded at the time. Private rockets? Good luck. Electric cars? People had already tried that repeatedly and failed. Then came 2008, and suddenly the whole thing started collapsing. The economy crashed, Tesla was running out of money, SpaceX was running out of money. Investors were nervous, employees were nervous, and SpaceX had already suffered 3 failed launches. 3. Imagine spending years building something, watching it explode, then starting over. Most people would have quit. Most companies would have died. People look at Elon Musk today and assume this outcome was inevitable. It wasn't. There was a version of history where Tesla disappeared, SpaceX disappeared, and nobody outside the tech world remembers his name. Then everything changed. SpaceX landed a NASA contract. Tesla secured desperately needed funding. Not success, survival. That's an important difference, because success feels planned, survival feels earned, and survival bought Elon Musk something even more valuable than money: time. This is where the story changes, and it's also where the arguments begin. Tesla grew, SpaceX grew, his wealth exploded, but something else happened too. Elon Musk stopped being just an entrepreneur. He became a symbol. And once somebody becomes a symbol, people stop arguing about what they did. They start arguing about what they are. To supporters, Elon became proof that ambitious people can still change the world. A builder, a risk taker, someone willing to attempt things other companies wouldn't touch. To critics, he became something else. A billionaire with too much influence. Someone who overpromised. Someone whose companies sometimes moved so fast that people got hurt along the way. Both sides often point to the same events and come away with completely different conclusions. The lawsuits, the labor disputes, the workplace complaints. Former employees have accused Musk-led companies of discrimination, retaliation, unsafe conditions, and toxic work environments. Supporters counter that many of these same companies created thousands of jobs and developed technologies that competitors said couldn't be built. That's part of what makes Elon Musk so difficult to explain. The same evidence often supports two completely different stories. But here's the weird part. The thing that made Elon Musk rich isn't necessarily the thing that made him powerful. Those turned out to be two different stories. The money wasn't really growing anymore, it was multiplying. Tesla gave him influence in transportation. SpaceX gave him influence in space. Starlink gave him influence in communications. X put him in the middle of public conversation. And eventually, those worlds started overlapping. Business, technology, media, politics. The same person kept showing up in all of them. And then, Elon stepped into a place where business leaders don't usually go. Government. DOGE. The Department of Government Efficiency. The name sounded like an internet joke. The consequences weren't. Supporters saw DOGE as long overdue reform, a businessman applying efficiency to institutions they believed had become bloated and expensive. Critics saw something very different, an unelected billionaire gaining extraordinary influence over public systems. And unlike arguments about electric cars or rockets, these decisions affected people's jobs directly. Departments were downsized, programs were reduced, workers left government service through layoffs, buyouts, and workforce cuts. Whether you think that was necessary reform or unnecessary damage probably depends on your politics. But the effect was real. When government jobs disappear, real people feel it. And once again, Elon Musk found himself in familiar territory, admired by some, resented by others, ignored by almost nobody. At this point, a pattern starts to emerge. Different decade, different company, same habit, win, reinvest, repeat. Zip2 became PayPal. PayPal became Tesla and SpaceX. Tesla and SpaceX became influence. Influence opened doors, money alone couldn't. That's not luck, at least not entirely. It's a strategy. And Elon Musk kept running it. So let's talk about the $1 trillion, 1,000 billion. A number so large it's almost impossible to visualize, but I think it's the wrong thing to focus on. Because the $1 trillion isn't really the story. It's the scoreboard. The story is everything that happened before it. The companies, the risks, the controversies, the failures, the comebacks, the influence. Maybe Elon Musk is a visionary. Maybe he's the greatest marketer of his generation. Maybe he's both. But the reason people still argue about him isn't because of the money. It's because money became influence, and influence became power. The $1 trillion just made that impossible to ignore. And that's why Elon Musk isn't just one of the richest people in history. He's one of the most consequential. Not because everyone agrees with him, but because almost nobody can avoid him. And whether you see that as inspiring or terrifying depends entirely on what you think should happen when one person accumulates that much influence over the world around them.